Think of the generations who will inherit this nation. Include them in our choices. It's our job to lift their voices. I gotta pay respect to the movement that is hip-hop, the people that create to express how that beat drop. The words of the silence telling stories for a cause. I'm thankful for the artists who stood up to spit how it was. I'm native and I'm peaceful, but I'm tripping like the voyage. Tired of the greed, deceit, destroying earth like we can make it without water or air. She ain't ours, we are hers, and we cannot compare. Our job is to preserve, though we don't deserve to remain. We can't contain our ego, don't live equal, need to reframe. Rich folks make systems of fear and hypocrisy while we subdue the margins of this so-called democracy. I'm native and I'm peaceful, standing rock hard like Dakota. North, south, bring east and west, we're gonna show up. Check your privilege and your comfort, your history and reflect. Don't confuse protect with protest, and instead use the platform for a cause and listen when the earth says, without me those lungs of yours are so gone. Without earth these lungs of ours are so gone. Think of the generations who will inherit this nation. Include them in our choices. It's our job to lift their voices.
That was Calina Lawrence, our guest today on Native Pulse. Hello and welcome to Native Pulse, a production of 7th Generation Fund for Indigenous Peoples. The purpose of Native Pulse conversation series is to bring forth the heart, knowledge, and action of Indigenous communities to the people. Our series will feature a variety of thought leaders and traditional peoples speaking on environmental justice, sustainable communities, and urgent issues as they relate to the health of our homelands. It is our intent that you leave these conversations feeling uplifted and inspired into action by the movements across the Indigenous world. My name is Correa Arroyo. I am a program coordinator here at 7th Generation Fund for Indigenous Peoples, and today I am really excited and honored to be speaking with Calina Lawrence. If you don't mind introducing yourself.
txwuelšucid. From the Northwest to North California, in Yalamu I'm a guest to inform ya. Salish, born and raised in Suquamish, Skalalum, Yakima, and Duwamish. Also Puyallup like my auntie Ramona. Came to the Bay to attain that diploma. Western educated, native at the surface. But at this epicenter I found my purpose. Arranging words and sounds to implore you. It's a disservice to our healing to ignore truth. Who's at the forefront of every social movement? Women and youth, and usually college students. Can't chant social justice without the inclusion of Native people. Our struggle ain't an illusion. Our culture sculpted by the land and the water. We offer, we barter, canoe to get stronger. We rising and dying, existing, resisting oppression, digressing, won't take it much longer. Calina Lawrence, Suquamish. Hello, my name is Calina Lawrence. I am Suquamish. I come from Suquamish, the place of the clear salt water, and I'm very honored to be here with you today.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. What a beautiful way to introduce oneself. Yeah, very appropriate for what we're talking about today. So firstly, If people have heard your music, they've noticed you talk a lot about MMIW, protection of sacred sites, the protection of water, protection of indigenous ways of life. Can you talk a little bit about your process and how, using your own words and music, you bring light to these issues?
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to acknowledge the importance of protocol in so many of our indigenous cultures across not just this country or this continent, but just across the world. And as a guest right now in the occupied territory of Ramaytush Ohlone folks, gathering here, living here in their ancestral village of Yelamu, I definitely have learned so much from just many community members here in what we know as the Bay Area, and the ways in which we use art and we use storytelling, and we really depend on community efforts is something that has been, instilled in me in my culture from home, the ʔəshəliʔ culture and the teachings of the canoe way of life, and also just spending the last 6 years here in the Bay Area and learning more about how to organize in different settings, just with respect to protocol. And for me, when I am creating music, it's usually drawing from personal experience. And we talk a lot about causes and movements, and a lot of us who are participants is because we are directly affected and directly impacted by all of these different social circumstances that are a majority caused by settler colonialism and are results directly of the ways we've been treated since first contact. And I think for me, finding a way to both survive through this ongoing ethnocide and genocide and oppression, and also maintaining the intergenerational strength and resilience that we have, has just come through music, because it helps me to make sense of things that I know are not the teachings that our ancestors have left for us. So I guess it's just partly because we don't really have a choice, to be vocal, and we've always, as Indigenous people, used the arts to get through life in all of its complexity. So I guess we'll just write about what's relevant for me, the way that I see the world, and the way that I would like the world to be eventually.
Yeah, not only do you talk about these issues, but you put it to a really good rhythm. So that's really awesome and powerful. And I know a lot of folks are right now, at home trying to also work on their art and find ways and avenues to amplify these issues while also, having fun and putting it to a rhythm and a beat,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to share another song with us. No?
Oh yeah, for sure. I wanted to just send a lot of love to everybody out there who's tuning in, and especially to my loved ones back home in Salish territory. And I wanted to share a paddle song that comes from one of my dear friends, Junior ʔəshəliʔ is what a lot of us call him, ʔəshəliʔ, Junior James. And just thinking about the teachings of the canoe and what it means to paddle with a group of people to get to a specific destination, all of the different wheels that are turning, so to speak, so that we can get there safely and together and in sync. So in my culture, we have a lot of songs to help us keep pace, right? Just to keep on rhythm, when to put our paddle in the water at the time that can get us all flowing, and like you said, that rhythm, get the good rhythm going while we're out on the water. And paddle songs can serve as metaphors for so much in our daily life as well. So I did want to share one paddle song, and it comes from Junior James. Oh, and that song is called One Speed. So it's just helping us, keep that pace and reminding us to all work together to get where we're trying to go.
Yeah, thanks. I think you already started talking about this, but yeah, how are these times? How are you grounding in these times? You mentioned earlier, you're in your songs, you're also not only writing about what's happening, but also trying to envision and create, a better future. So within these times, how is your creation going? As an artist and organizer, how do you ground down while still looking ahead?
I've really appreciated, one, the privilege of having a home, having shelter right now, knowing that there are a lot of people in not just cities, but also on reservations and in other areas who are houseless. And I feel like me being able to have a safe place to quarantine and shelter and do my part is a huge privilege. And also, as someone who has been a traveling musician for the last 3 years, I've never spent this much time at home, like consecutively ever. And it's been just a really, really important time for me of reflection and rest, and just being able to be present. Of course, always reflecting on the past and thinking ahead to the future, but I've really, really appreciated this ability to be present. And I started taking my ancestral language of txвэлšucid. I started taking an online language class through the ʔəshəliʔ language program. And I take language class about 3 times a week now. And it's just like, I feel like it's like consumed me and my house and the way that I'm thinking. And I for sure have been inspired to continue to write more music in my language and also talk more about the importance of our Indigenous languages through English lyrics as well. And I've been able to just slow down my thoughts and my body physically and realign, remember to think of those who might be absent in my thought process if I'm going at the pace that capitalism has set for us. And for me, it's just the ideas of what kind of songs I want to write. What do I want to talk about? What needs to be talked about? Or what kind of vibe would reach what demographic of people? And do I feel confident? Do I feel like I can trust myself to create that type of frequency? So this downtime for me, and thinking about the severity of this global crisis and pandemic, and how do we find the balance, right, of being grateful and writing and creating from that place of gratitude, and also being frustrated and being worried and being critical, and creating from those places as well.
Yeah, here, we talked about, reframing the concept of productivity, right? Because there's all these folks who are saying, if you've always wanted to write that book, now is the time, or if you've always wanted to write that song and you're not doing it now, but it's important, like you're saying, to realize, like, we are going through a pandemic, and just getting up every day and making sure you eat is important, and that's enough right now, making sure we're staying well.
Yeah.
And everything you're sharing about being mindful of who we're not thinking about automatically. But yeah, thank you for that, for sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah, would you like to share another piece with us?
Yeah, I would love to. This next song that I wanted to share is an example kind of what we're talking about. I had originally gotten on Instagram. This was back in 2017, and there's a lot of hashtag challenges, and there's a lot for MCs specifically, where you take a popular hip hop or R&B instrumental, and you rap or sing over that instrumental, and then you post it so people can kind of check out, like, what would you do with this instrumental. And there was one for So Gone by Monica, and I was scrolling through the hashtag, and there were not a lot of women who were represented, or femmes, but at the same time I was like, do people not realize that we have an entire gathering of intertribal people in Standing Rock, and there's so many views coming through this hashtag? Like, how do we get this conversation to a wider audience so that folks can know what's happening on the ground? And I decided to take that instrumental and write a verse to it, and kind of talk a little bit about what at that time Indigenous water protectors were going through. And then I took that verse and I decided to, like, create an actual song out of it, and that became Generations. And that was the first rap verse that I ever wrote, but it was just me trying to, like, trying to include all this, as much as I could say in 24 bars as I could. And I asked my little sis, by choice, Dea, she was 13 at the time, if she wanted to do a song with me, because she was just really loving singing and wanting to start rapping. And then it kind of all came together. Like, every song has a creation story in terms of the idea, the process, who to collaborate with and why, or how it all comes together. And there's a lot of decision making that goes into the songs that I'm fortunate to be a part of. And so this one is featuring Dea, and the second verse is hers. And I just always try to remind folks, she was 13 years old when she wrote her verse, and I didn't give her any prompt other than just listen to the chorus and let us know what you think. Tell us as adults and mentors, what do we need to be doing to serve you better as young people, to make sure that the world we're leaving you is one that, is it, that we are rid of any unnecessary suffering. And she told us exactly what she needed from us. So this one is Generations, and Generations is my second single ever as a professional musician, and this released in July of 2017. And there's also a really incredible music video on YouTube as well for folks to check out. So here we go. Think of the generations who will inherit this nation. Include them in our choices. It's our job to lift their voices. I gotta pay respect to the movement that is hip hop, the people that create to express how that beat drop of the silence, telling stories for a cause. I'm thankful for the artists who stood up to spit how it was. I'm native and I'm peaceful, but I'm tripping like the voyage. Tired of the greed, deceit, destroying earth like we can make it without water or air. She ain't ours, we are hers, and we cannot compare. Our job is to preserve, though we don't deserve to remain. We can't contain our ego, don't live equal, need to reframe. Rich folks make systems of fear and hypocrisy while we subdue the margins of this so-called democracy. And I'm peaceful, standing rock hard like Dakota. North, south, bring east and west, we're gonna show up. Check your privilege and your comfort, your history and reflect. Don't confuse protect with protesting. Instead, use a platform for a cause and listen when the earth says, without me, those lungs of yours are so gone. Without earth, these lungs of ours are so gone. Think of the generations who will inherit this nation. Include them in our choices. It's our job to lift their voices. These generations feel the same except the lingo and the style. The struggles have built up, it's on the kids to change me wild. Brothers in the streets, sisters crying in the sheets. Mamas on the phone saying, what happened, baby? Look at this world we have created. We got needles on our streets. Little kids scared to speak, hurt so bad it's hard to breathe. Tell me there's not a better way. Give me proof that there's not more to say. Show me all the work you've done. You don't know how far I've come. Should've told me at age 6 that my life was gonna change. People got me pegged for root, but I'm just trying not to cave. Daddy left when I was 6. System held both of us. Mama played both parts. It broke both of our hearts. Flipped upside down. I've been kicked to the ground. Had to build myself back up to understand I will still fall. Not ashamed of all my past. It has made me who I am. Carry my team on my back. Our destiny is not to manifest anger and pain. Use the voice that you have to help create a better path. Mass incarceration to mass deportations. Police brutality stem from racist mentality. Can't you see the pattern? No dapple, no pipelines, no costumes. Use any outlet that you love. Stand up and make a change, not for the money and the fame, for the generations we create. Think of the generations who will inherit this nation. Include them in my choices. It's our job to lift their voices. And that last chorus is just Dea's voice as well. And there's something to be said about that too, is all the way down to the very intimate decision making, right? I open the song just me singing the chorus, and in the middle she and I sing the chorus together, and at the end it's only her voice, right? And it kind of serves as like a musical representation of us, one, holding space, sharing space, and giving space to young voices, not just who, you know, happen to be musically gifted, but just in all of our communities, especially being that the youth in Standing Rock were the center of this movement for protection of our water that we know is a continuation of our ancestors' work, but to have the momentum and impact that Standing Rock had on our generation, that was created by the minds and hearts of the young people. And something that I will always be grateful and absolutely feel the need to make music about and document the contributions that come from Indigenous youth.
Yeah, it was hard to not sing along. It's such
You
a
should have.
yeah, it's and like you're sharing, it tackles like really complex issues while also planting that seed of hope, right, and resiliency, and like you're saying, handing that mic over, right, to the next generation. Yeah. Well, I know you're wearing an awesome shirt. Along with
yes.
is there anything you want to share with us? Anything you want to talk about before you share one more song with us?
Yeah, I was thinking about, what is it that I'm feeling in this particular moment, and I'm just really grateful for compassion and the so many examples of compassion that we have seen in this particular moment. I know in a lot of ways there are people being let down, both systemically and personally, and in so many ways, but just to look around and see the mutual aid efforts and just people really looking out for one another, this time, right, of people paying rent for families that are struggling for however many months down the road, and free food giving out every day, and just the ways that these are how so many of our Indigenous communities have operated. And it seems so shocking in living in a state of capitalism, but it's so refreshing to know, one, that it's possible, and two, that we're just doing what we've always done. And I think for me, I am definitely trying to maintain that balance of just witnessing the greatness that's coming out of these really severe times, and like just being so grateful for every contribution from every person and what they're able to do. And like you said earlier, even if you're only able to just get yourself through the day, and recognize that, like, that is such a crucial part of this as well. So I'm thankful for our teachings of compassion and gratitude, and then knowing that we will continue to get through it if those things are leading us. So yeah, in our language, as I mentioned, depicting, thank you all. Thank all of you folks out there, and all of you folks at Native Pulse as well, for your efforts. You don't have to do all the extra, but when you do, it makes such a huge impact and such a huge difference on our emotional well-being, our psychological well-being, our spiritual and physical well-being. So depicting, thank you. Because Lushootseed and language have been just so present in my daily life since quarantine started, I wanted to share one last song with all of you that I've actually been blessed to write entirely in the txwuelšucid language. And a quick shout out to hip hop and those who have created this movement of music and arts and rhythm to just keep doing it. Preserving our language through music has always existed. I'm not the first to do it. I will not be the last to do it. But this is the first time in my personal journey of being able to write a contemporary song in this way. So this is called ʔəshəliʔ txwuelšucid, one translation being Lushootseed Is Alive. And there is a call and response normally with an audience full of beautiful faces and voices that I get to be in space with. And because I can't, I would definitely like to invite any of you to just sing the call and response with me on the other end of your screen or wherever you are. It's roughly translates ʔəshəliʔ, how are you folks, is what I ask. in the call, and the response is ʔəshəliʔ, we are strong. ʔəshəliʔ, we are strong. txʷəlšucid, we will be strong. So the chorus will come and go, and I'll just kind of lead you through it, but please definitely sing from wherever you are. And if you are feeling strong, I'm so grateful. And if you're not, I hope that this song can just remind each of us of our inner strength in times of difficulty. So this one is also an amazing music video on YouTube if you get a chance to go check that out. And all of my music as well is on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, all of those fun things. If you just type in my name, Calina Lawrence, that's where you'll find it. I also had the honor of producing this song on my phone. It's my first production. Definitely wanting to learn to produce my music in the future. So it's my first self-produced song in Lushootseed. All right, goes like this. ʔəshəliʔ, txʷəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txʷəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txʷəlšucid, txʷəlšucid, txʊwəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txʊwəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txʊwəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txʊwəlšucid, txʊwəlšucid, txʊwəlšucid. Hold yaftikwo, yaftiswatutay. Stop just to die. Put head up, oak, achtas, asab, puts asab, put qualer. Put head up, oak, achtas, asab, puts asab, put qualer. Txվəlշucid is alive, txվəlšucid is alive, txվəlšucid is alive. Ready? ʔəshəliʔ, txʷəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txʷəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlշucid, txվəlšucid, txʊwəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlշucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlšucid, txվəlšucid, txʊwəlšucid. Quaqualiq, abaliq, qobab, qob. Slachilch, tiduk, suqwab, tel alcha, duk, suqwab. Hat, tislachil, ʔəshəliʔ, hat, tislachil. Bakutitia, yeah, hat, tislachil, atsi, stelbucha, quadzada, txվəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlšucid, txվəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlšucid, txվəlšucid, txʊwəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txվəlšucid, ʔəshəliʔ, txʊwəlšucid.
Thank you so much. That was Calina Lawrence. Again, please support Indigenous artists. Follow Calina Lawrence. Download her music. Buy her music. Find ways to continue to support artists. A lot of them, we're touring. A lot of tours got canceled. So we got to make sure that we're finding ways to continue to amplify and support y'all's work. Thank you so much. Yeah, so thank you for listening to Native Pulse, a production of 7th Generation Fund for Indigenous Peoples. To learn more, visit us at www.7genfund.org. Thank you all.
These generations feel the same except the lingo and the style. The struggles have built up, it's on the kids to change meanwhile. Brothers in the streets, sisters crying in the sheets. Mama's on the phone saying, what happened, baby? Look at this world we have created, we got needles on the streets. Little kids scared to speak, hurt so bad it's hard to breathe. Tell me there's not a better way, give me proof that there's not more to say. Show me all the work you've done, you don't know how far I've come. Should've told me at age 6 that my life was gonna change. People got me pegged for rude, but I'm just trying not to cave. Daddy left when I was 6, system held both of us. Mama played both parts, it broke both of our hearts. Flipped upside down, I've been kicked to the ground. Had to build myself back up to understand I will still fall. Not ashamed of all my past, it has made me who I am. Carry my team on my back and educate on this track. Our destiny is not to manifest anger and pain. Use the voice that you have to help create a better path. Mass incarceration to mass deportations. Police brutality stem from racist mentality. Can't you see the pattern? No dapple, no black snakes, no pipeline, racist hate, no costumes and no chains. Use any outlet that you love, stand up and make a change. Not for the money and the fame, for the generations we create.